Sorry, I couldn't send you the PPT. I will send it today, and some sums also to solve. And then just remind me at 2:30 to stop the session so that we can start with the presentation. Okay?
मैम प्रेजेंटेशन पहले कर लेते हैं.
नहीं गौरव, पहले क्लास कर लो ना.
ओके मैम, ओके.
फिर प्रेजेंटेशन क्या होता है, थोड़ा देर ज्यादा भी चलता है, 5 मिनट, तो फिर इट्स फाइन. ठीक है. ओके क्लास. So whatever you have made the table, entity, and their attributes, now it have to represent it through a particular diagram known as your entity relationship diagram. Okay, class? Entity relationship diagram. So it facilitates you in understanding that what are the representation of the different entity and its attribute. Got it? So we will just start with it. So ER model is represented by a means of your ER diagram, that is your entity relationship diagram. So students, जहाँ ER आता है उसका मतलब क्या हो गया? What is that?
Entity relationship diagram.
Entity relationship. ठीक है? So entity relationship diagram, entity relationship model. So any object, for example, entities, attributes of an entities, relationship sets, and the attributes of relationship sets can be represented by with the help of an ER diagram. Got it? So actually for the representation, it's really very much important so that the customer, or whenever you are making entire database, so just through a diagrammatic representation without getting inside the tables, you can actually make it clear to your clients that okay, these are the things which is there existing in your table. Okay, so that we will discuss. So your basic concepts of your ER model to model used for designing and representation of the relationship sets between the data. And the main data objects are termed as entities. Like for example, student, we have made student table. So student table it is. So it is known as your entity. Important and used to identify the entities. Okay, so this is your basic models of your things. Now, some things which you will want to discuss before starting your ER diagram is if the attribute roll number can uniquely identify student entity amongst all the students, then the attribute roll number will be said to be a key. So there are different types of key: primary key, composite key, and foreign key. Yes, students? Yes,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Now, two things we will discuss: super key and candidate key over here. So what is super key and candidate key? So your super key is, like for example, in a table, if it is there, if there is more than one uniquely identify and unique identified keys are there, then it is known as your super key. Like for example, employee SSN and employee number, both is required to understand the employee. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे क्या हो गया students, there are two primary keys, so this set will be known as your super key. Like for example, इसका और एक better example we can put in that last week we have collected one data in which of the third semester, wherein all the enrollment numbers in the third semester were also have to submit their Aadhaar card number. Okay, enrollment number is your this thing, primary key, unique key. Aadhaar card number is also a unique key. Yes, class? ठीक है. So there can be a possibility that there are student name as Steve, Ajit, Chaitanya, Robert, ये चारों नाम के बच्चे हैं आपके पास. So ये इनके सबके नाम तो same है, but the thing is that we have their enrollment number as well as their Aadhaar card number, which is different for all these students. All these students. So same is happening with this employee also, wherein your salary slip number and employee number both is the primary key over here. both is the unique key over here. So this is known as your super key. Got it, class? Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Just write the super key. So for super key, like for example, for the previous, you just make the sets of the super keys. So it can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3. Up to means up to n numbers you can prepare the groups. So employee SSN, it can be retrieve only one employee number only because these both are unique. So इसके basis पे आप कोई भी data retrieve कर सकते हो from your table. Now employee number both can be combined, employee SSN, employee name both can be combined, employee SSN, number, name, all three can be combined together, and then your employee number and EMP name can be combined together. So for example, over here I just want to ask you, like in this particular case, why not employee name is coming in a single set, like EMP SSN and employee number? Why?
Ma'am, can you repeat the
Ma'am,
question?
because
employee
name
name
comes
can be
under
repeated.
attribute.
Yes, those are the attributes and those are not the unique ones. That is not a unique attribute. Name repeat हो सकते हैं, लेकिन other hand, your enrollment number, your SSN number, your employee number can't be repeated. That is why EMP name is a general attribute. It is not a key attribute. It is a key attribute. Getting my point, students? Last class में पूछा था ना, key attributes and non-key attributes. So what's the difference between key attribute and non-key attributes? What's the difference between key attributes and the non-key attributes?
Ma'am, non-key attributes get
Yes, yes.
And key attributes are unique.
Unique. ठीक है. So that is why your EMP name is a non-key attribute. So it can't be just, आप देखो कहीं भी आप सर्च करते हो, कुछ भी सर्च करते हो, अपने फॉर्म्स डालते हो भी कुछ भी, तो आप कैसे सर्च करते हो? By writing your email ID and your maybe your enrollment number. Do you do anywhere you do with your name?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
नेम कहीं भी यूज होता है, आप कहीं भी कुछ भी फॉर्म डालोगे, सब जगह रजिस्ट्रेशन आईडी और योर enrollment number और registration number और email ID और the password, whichever things, name से कहीं भी आप retrieval नहीं कर सकते. क्यों? क्योंकि name is not the key attributes. Retrieval can only be done through your key attributes. ठीक है? Any problem?
No, ma'am.
सुपर की के वैसे जरूरत है नहीं हमें, लेकिन फिर भी स्टूडेंट्स, आई जस्ट प्रेफर बिकॉज we have recommended the senior batch students to just go for SQL certification because many companies are actually demanding this kind of, because we don't have SQL in our syllabus. So for that it's really important that आप ये सब keys समझ आप में आए रहेगा, so you can easily just start. Now this is a minimal super key, candidate key with no redundant attributes, and the following two sets of super keys are chosen from the above set. There are no redundant attributes in these sets. So candidate key is the combination of the different keys, which super keys, which is there available in the table. Okay, so like for example, student ID over here. Okay, so this is the primary key, and your candidate key combining first name and the last name, combining the first name and the last name, you are taking it as a key for the entire name as your candidate. Okay, so student ID, so it's just a combination wherein you are bringing in as to make the candidate keys. Okay, now coming to the primary key, already you are aware. Last class also we discussed that it should not have the null values, and it can have only one primary key, which consists of a single or the multiple keys. Okay. Now, particular case, student ID is your primary key, first name, last name, and the course ID. So primary key is there. No need to much discuss about it. Composite key क्या होता है student? Already we have discussed. Composite key.
जहाँ पे मोर देन वन प्राइमरी की होता है।
wherein more than one attribute is the primary key. And सुनो उसके साथ एक और चीज, नहीं तो वो सुपर की हो जाएगा ना. One of the non-key attribute on the other means to, मतलब दो नॉन की एट्रीब्यूट्स दोनों अलग अलग आपके दोनों पे डिपेंडेंसी रहती है उसकी. सो देयर इन दैट इज नोन एज दी कॉम्पोजिट की. ठीक है ना, कॉम्पोजिट की कहते हैं. सो कॉम्पोजिट की ऑर्डर आईडी एंड प्रोडक्ट आईडी both is what the primary key overhead, and both order id and product id is the
मैम कंपोजिट की और सुपर की का डिफरेंस आपने क्या बोला, एक बार फिर से बताएंगे?
क्या क्या
कंपोजिट की एंड
देखो
सुपर की मैम.
कॉम्पोजिट, हाँ देखो सुपर की एंड द कॉम्पोजिट की, इसमें क्या हो रहा है कि आपकी डिपेंडेंसी पे चेकिंग हो रही है. डिपेंडेंसी इज दैट पार्शियली, देखो कॉम्पोजिट की जहां आता है वहां पे हम लोगों ने पढ़ा है ना कि पार्शियल डिपेंडेंसी हो जाती है. Partial dependency what? कि some of the attributes are dependent on one key and some of the attributes are dependent on the other key. ठीक है, लेकिन सुपर की में ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है. सुपर की में कंबाइंड वे में आपका दोनों हो रहा है. मींस दोनों नेम इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन बोथ. मींस नेम हम रिट्रीव कर सकते हैं मे बी फ्रॉम योर इनरोलमेंट नंबर ऑल्सो, मे बी फ्रॉम योर दिस थिंग ऑल्सो. अगर ऐसा कुछ डेटा सेट बनाऊं आप लोगों का कि आपका आधार कार्ड भी है और आपका इनरोलमेंट नंबर भी है, तो मैं आराम से ना चाहे आधार कार्ड से आप लोगों को रिट्रीव कर लूं या फिर. सो दैट इज द पॉइंट ऑफ योर सुपर कीज. ठीक है, लेकिन कॉम्पोजिट की में क्या हो रहा है कि नहीं, अभी मुझे जानना है कि इसका एड्रेस क्या है. ठीक है, तो एड्रेस इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन व्हाट? योर आधार कार्ड एंड योर प्रोफाइलिंग. मींस आप फाइनेंस लोगे, मार्केटिंग लोगे, क्या लोगे, वो सब सारी चीजें डिपेंडेंट है आपकी इनरोलमेंट टाइप. तो यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम आती है आपकी कॉम्पोजिट. समझ रहे मेरी बात को? तो अभी जब मुझे एड्रेस रिट्रीव करना होगा तो आई कैन नॉट राइट योर इनरोलमेंट नंबर, आई हैव टू राइट योर आधार कार्ड नंबर बिकॉज इट इज लिंक्ड विद, उसकी डिपेंडेंसी जो है वो आधार पे, एंड योर स्पेशलाइजेशन की डिपेंडेंसी जो है वो आपकी इनरोलमेंट पे. गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? सो दोनों की जो डिपेंडेंसी नॉन की है वो अलग अलग प्राइमरी की. गॉट इट और नॉट?
यस मैम, यस मैम.
पक्का?
यस मैम.
ऑल ऑफ यू? हाँ. Now, your customer ID, order ID, product code, and product count, all of these things are there. So your customer, either these are some explanation, just go through it very simple. That your column customer ID alone cannot become a key, as the same customer can place multiple orders, as the same customer can have multiple entries. Order ID alone cannot become the primary key. So क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? Composite की बात हो रही है. ठीक है. So your customer and column product code cannot be a primary key, as more than one customer can place the order for the same product. तो इसके क्या है? Product code product पे आ रही है, order पे आ रही है, and then product count alone cannot be a primary key because two orders placed for the same product. So based on this, it is safe to assume that the key should be having more than one attribute. Key in the above table will be customer ID and product. You students, maybe the question can come like this also, that you have to just see to the diagram. ऐसे डायग्राम्स आपके सामने आएंगे और आपको पता करना होगा इसमें से कौन कौन सी कीज जो हैं वो प्राइमरी कीज हो सकते हैं, कॉम्पोजिट एट्रीब्यूट्स. ठीक है, सो यहाँ पे आपको थोड़ा सा ना दिमाग लगाना है. बना सकते हैं हम प्राइमरी, क्यों नहीं बना सकते हैं प्राइमरी की?
Product code is not unique, na?
प्रोडक्ट कोड यूनिक है, ऑर्डर नहीं बन सकता. क्यों नहीं?
रिपीटेड वैल्यूज,
नॉट रिपीटेड वैल्यू. देखो रिपीटेड वैल्यू तो आपके प्रोडक्ट कोड में भी आ रही है. ये प्रोडक्ट में भी मेनी ऑफ देम कैन ऑर्डर. कस्टमर आईडी में भी आ रही है रिपीटेड वैल्यूज.
मैम इसमें तीनों में से कोई भी प्राइमरी की नहीं बन सकता अकेला, वो कोई ना कोई के साथ मैचअप करना पड़ेगा उसको.
यस, मैचअप करना पड़ेगा उसको. लेकिन प्रोडक्ट ऑर्डर आईडी को मैचअप के बाद भी नहीं बना सकते प्राइमरी. क्यों नहीं बना सकते? वही तो चीज हमने किया, मैचअप करना पड़ेगा. मींस कस्टमर आईडी, प्रोडक्ट कोड बोथ कैन कंबाइंड मैनर में आपको प्राइमरी की बनेगी, क्योंकि कस्टमर कुछ तो ऑर्डरिंग अ प्रोडक्ट, कस्टमर ऑर्डरिंग अ प्रोडक्ट, अभी ER डायग्राम पे भी इसकी रिप्रेजेंटेशन आपको दिखाऊंगी। तो आप समझो कि ऑर्डर जो है मींस आप एक टाइम पे आपने मल्टीपल ऑर्डर्स कर लिए, ठीक है, डिफरेंट प्रोडक्ट्स एक टाइम पे, तो यूनिक हुआ ये यहाँ पे, ऐसे सोचो तो यूनिक हुआ?
No, ma'am.
तो आपको ऐसे करके देखना होगा, थोड़ा इस चीज को दिमाग लगाओ, ठीक है। Then foreign key, you already know that it is the linkage between the two tables. When you are calling any primary key in the table, then it becomes your any other table. So base or referencing के लिए, then it is known as your foreign key. So like for example, if we are calling this department ID in this particular table, so this becomes the foreign key. So it is primary key over here and it will become the foreign key over here. ठीक है? Then again, we can see how we establish relationships between these two tables is the primary key is course ID, primary key being in the one table can become the foreign key in another table. Okay, so very clear. Then ER model relationships, what is it? That it is a class entity related to student entity because students study in the classes. Okay, so students study in the class. तो क्या हो गई, ये एक एंटिटी हो गई, और स्टूडेंट के एट्रीब्यूट्स क्या हो जाएंगे? स्टूडेंट्स के एट्रीब्यूट क्या हो जाएंगे? enrollment number, name, age, address, email ID. So these all will become the attributes. ये चीज ध्यान रखो क्योंकि दोनों की डायग्रामेटिक रिप्रेजेंटेशन में जो हम लिखते हैं वो बॉक्सेस अलग अलग होते हैं. तो एंटिटी क्या है और उनके एट्रीब्यूट्स क्या है. So depending upon the number of entities involved, a degree is assigned to a relationship. Degree किस लेवल पे हम लाए वो मैं बताऊंगी. Now जैसे entities हम लिखते हैं कभी भी diagrams में, so it is represented in rectangular box. That is student, teacher, projects. ठीक है, तो हमेशा जब हम इसको relate करते हैं, so it is represented into boxes. Then you have one entity known as a weak entity. वीक एंटिटी ऐसा होता है, इनफैक्ट हम बोलते हैं, आप इस पे ज्यादा फोकस मत करो अभी इस टाइम पे, मैं आपको बाद में इसको और ये बता देती हूँ. राइट नाउ व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द वीक एंटिटी, ऑल द एंटिटीज आर वीक. जैसे हमने बात की बैंक अकाउंट कैन नॉट बी यूनिकली आइडेंटिफाइड विदाउट नोइंग द बैंक टू व्हिच द अकाउंट बिलोंग्स टू. सो बैंक अकाउंट इज अ वीक एंटिटी. तो हमेशा हम उसको इस तरीके से रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, रेक्टेंगल टू रेक्टेंगल, दिस अंडर द टू रेक्टेंगुलर बॉक्सेस. So this is the bank account belongs to this particular bank. Your student belongs to this class. So ऐसे आप देखो तो हर entity ही weak है, ठीक है ना. So इसकी representation हम देखते चलते हैं कि हमें किस टाइप से weak है. लेकिन इसी को आप relate कर देते. Students study in college. Students study in college. Then obviously it is not going to be a weak entity because आपने उसको identify कर दिया उसका रास्ता. अभी हम देखते हैं उसको कैसे करेंगे और attributes कैसे हम देखते हैं. स्टूडेंट नेम, बर्थडे, रोल नंबर. ठीक है, स्टूडेंट नेम, बर्थडे, रोल नंबर. तो स्टूडेंट क्या हो गया क्लास यहाँ पे? व्हाट इज स्टूडेंट ओवर हियर? एंटिटी.
Yes, ma'am. A name, roll number, birth date is a attribute.
Attributes. Very good, very good. So ऐसे हम इसकी रिप्रेजेंटेशन बनानी शुरू करें और ये हो जाएगी हमारी attributes. Okay, so these are all your attributes and this is your entity. Okay. Now, your key attributes is uniquely identifying entities from an entity set. For example, student roll number can be uniquely identified. So how we will identify this particular key, this particular attribute is a key attribute. We will just underline it. ठीक है, ऐसे करके इसको हम underline करेंगे. तो ये हमारा बन जाएगा student attribute. Please draw it in pen, all of you, on pen and paper. Please. All of you, please take out your notebook and please draw it. अभी हम लोग पूरा बनाएंगे. Write it. ये student is an entity and name, birth date and roll number is the attributes. Done class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
की एट्रीब्यूट को अंडरलाइन करना है. प्लीज ड्रॉ दिस वन. स्टूडेंट, रोल नंबर, नेम. अभी देखो स्टूडेंट हमारी एंटिटी है एंड देन इट इज अंडर द ओवल बॉक्सेस. क्लिप्स भी कहते हैं ओवल बॉक्सेस. इसको आप ये करो. ये स्टूडेंट बहुत बार स्टूडेंट्स ये सब दिक्कत करते हैं, वो बना देते हैं पूरा करेक्ट, बट व्हाट मिस्टेक दे डू यू नो. रोल जैसे ये अपनी ओवल है ना, ओवल में वो लोग एंटिटी डाल देते हैं और रेक्टेंगुलर में वो लोग एट्रीब्यूट डायग्राम गलत हो जाएगा. पॉइंट पूरा डायग्राम गलत हो जाएगा. ओके. सो प्लीज मेक इट अ पॉइंट, एंटिटी हमेशा रेक्टेंगुलर बॉक्स में ही रहेगा. व्हाट इट?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then we have one known as the composite attributes. एक तो composite की आपने सीखा, लेकिन वो हम composite attributes की बात करेंगे कि if attributes are composite, they are further divided into a tree-like structure. Tree-like structure means attribute के भी attributes. जैसे मान लो name है, student का name है, उसका first name and last name. Student का roll number obviously ये unique होता है, इसमें और कोई further clarification नहीं है. अभी जैसे हमने मांगा उनका email ID, primary email ID, secondary email ID. Yes, many places you get ना like that. Primary email, secondary email. So क्या हो जाएगा? email, primary, secondary. तो क्या हो गया? उसका फिर tree like structure will be formed like this. इसका ये हो गया और ये हो गया. तो ये क्या, इसको क्या कहेंगे स्टूडेंट? This is known as composite attributes. What is it?
Composite attribute.
Composite attributes. ठीक है. So ये आपका इस टाइप से हो जाएगा. Then further you have to just take it. वैसे अभी हम यहाँ पे एक और बना देते हैं email. यार बहुत गंदा रेटिंग होता है. अभी इसका हम यहाँ पे इसको ये कर दो, प्राइमरी ईमेल एंड सेकेंडरी. तो ये क्या हो गया? कॉम्पोजिट. अगेन ट्री लाइक स्ट्रक्चर में ये डिवाइड हो जाएगा. गॉट इट? Yes or no class? कोई दिक्कत, कोई शक? Okay. Now this is known as your multi-valued attributes. Multi-valued attributes means what? That when you are asking for more than one values for a particular attribute, like for example phone number. आपका जैसे अभी हमने क्या किया, फोन नंबर एक से ज्यादा मांग रहे हैं, ठीक है, एक से ज्यादा आप फोन नंबर मांग रहे हैं किसी का, तो then it becomes your multi-valued attributes. ठीक है ना? And it is depicted by double ellipse. देखो ध्यान दो. Yes.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt. Ma'am, one thing. Suppose name is bifurcated into two. First name and second name. Second name we called composite, or first name we called composite attribute.
No, पूरा name is known as the composite attributes.
Okay.
Because it is further, because it is further divided into two more other attributes.
Okay, that means name is composite attribute.
Composite, yes. Name is a composite attribute. It will facilitate you in finding out कि अच्छा इसके और भी further इसकी सब attributes होंगे. ठीक है ना? Now comes the multi-valued attributes. So multi-valued attributes क्या होता है कि आपने phone number लिखा and you are asking for more than one phone number. So it is depicted as the double ellipse. ऐसे होगा. ठीक है क्लास? हाँ, आराम से जितना क्वेश्चन पूछना पूछो. प्लीज आस्क.
और एक बार बोलिए.
Multi-valued attribute is that when you are asking for more than one data from your customers, their phone number, you are asking for more than one phone number. Like for example, specialization की बात आती है आप लोगों को, students specialization. So we give you option of more than one. So what is it? It is a multi-valued attribute that you will be writing finance, marketing, HR, like that.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, courses you are enrolled into. So it is multi-valued.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes, ma'am. Got it.
So you will always इस टाइप के जितने भी attributes देंगे उसको double ellipse में आप बनाओ. Then one is your derived attributes. Like for example, students, आप लोग देखे होंगे, whenever in any forms you must have filled in, आप लोग जब forms online fill करते हो तो उसमें आप देखते हो कि whenever you give your date of birth, immediately आपका age उसके बगल में क्या जाता है, exact birth date. Yes, have you seen it?
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है, so that is how it is happening through the derived attributes. Through the derived attributes we are talking about. आप लोग Facebook पे अपने date of birth डालते हो students? How every year आप update करने जाते हो कि today is my birthday and I have turned to 22 years or 23 years or 24 years of age?
Yes, ma'am.
It is updated automatically. Got it? So क्या होता है, ये derived attributes हमेशा हम उस birth date पे वो condition applied रहता है कि वो चीजें आपकी जहां हर उस date पे आपका वो प्लान हो जाता रहता है. ठीक है, just same case again, one example can it be that like for example if you're using your credit card अगर आप लोग use करते हो anyone or you must have seen your parents using it, अब देखना उसमें क्या होता है कि every month when you are done with your payments, means whatever payment you have done, तो balance amount जो बचता है, so this much amount needed to be paid. So वो कैसे आता है, वो derived होके आता है, this much was paid and then what interest will be levied on the cash, the balance amount. ठीक है ना, बैलेंस अमाउंट पे कितना आपका इंटरेस्ट लेवी हो रहा है. सो दैट वन इज द डिराइव्ड वैल्यू व्हिच इज कमिंग ऑफ फॉर दोस थिंग्स. सो हमेशा ये ध्यान रखना जब भी आप डिराइव्ड एट्रीब्यूट्स करते हो कि डॉटेड लाइंस के अंदर रहते हैं ऐसे, एंड इट शुड बी नियर द मेन. किससे डिराइव हो रहा है, बर्थ डेट से आपका एज डिराइव हो रहा है. क्रेडिट कार्ड को कितना पे करना है, इट इज द क्रेडिट कार्ड समरी से आपके बगल में आप उसको ये करोगे. ठीक है. Now, one more functionality when you are combining.
So, ma'am, age is the derived attribute.
Age is the derived attribute.
Yes.
मैम एज कंपोजिट क्यों नहीं हो सकता? जैसे अभी नेम के आगे फर्स्ट और लास्ट हो रहा था, तो वैसे बर्थ के भी आगे वो जाना चाहिए ना?
नहीं, क्यों? वो हमने नहीं बनाया बर्थ के आगे, क्योंकि हम उसको डिवाइड नहीं कर रहे हैं ना. देखो, कंपोजिट एट्रीब्यूट क्या करता है कि उसमें आपको एक और एट्रीब्यूट बनाना पड़े, लेकिन बर्थ डेट में मान लो आप एज डाल दें तो, और फिर दूसरा क्या है उसके अलावा. इसमें देखो ना, फर्स्ट नेम लास्ट नेम, इसके में एक से ज्यादा होगा तभी ये कॉम्पोजिट होगा. नहीं तो ठीक है ना, हम नाम ही लिख देंगे सीधे सीधे यहाँ पे. व्हाट इज द रिक्वायरमेंट कि आई विल बी फर्दर डिवाइडेड इनटू टू एट्रीब्यूट्स. सो सेम वे बर्थ डेट्स में जैसे आप जब एज निकालते हो, सो ओनली वन विल बी डिराइव्ड ना. सो बेटर दैट इट विल बी कम एज योर डिराइव्ड एट्रीब्यूट. व्हाटएवर यू आर पुटिंग इन द बर्थ डेट, एज वो डिराइव करके निकाल लेगा. ठीक है.
ओके मैम, अंडरस्टूड.
ओके, सो इट इज लाइक दैट. एंड इट देखो, कॉम्पोजिट एट्रीब्यूट आप कभी भी बनाना स्टूडेंट्स, ये बात जरूर ध्यान रखना, इट शुड बी मोर देन वन. ठीक है ना. कॉम्पोजिट मींस कंपोज मींस दो को मिला के एक बन रहा है. ठीक है ना.
Yes, ma'am.
यस मैम.
नाउ व्हेन यू आर रिलेटिंग, अब ये तो सिर्फ दो रिलेट हो रहा है, अभी हम वन टू वन, वन टू मेनी कार्डिनलिटीज करेंगे, उसमें बहुत सारे हम लोग ज्वाइन करेंगे. This is student study in college. This is known as your is a relationship. It is the relationship wherein you just put in through which into two entities. So student है, college है, तो student देखो, और ये लगाने से क्या होता है ना कि आपकी कोई भी वीक एंटिटी नहीं, समझ में आ रहा है कि स्टूडेंट को भी एक सपोर्ट मिले कि स्टूडेंट स्टडी इन कॉलेज. कस्टमर ऑर्डर प्रोडक्ट्स. ओके, customer order products. So like that it will happen. So student, student ID, student name, student address, these are your attributes. Study in college, that is your college ID, college name, college address, जो भी आपको attribute इसमें डालना. Got it? अभी चलो, अभी इसके पहले हम लोग एक बनाते हैं, एक ER डायग्राम. अभी जस्ट नाउ अभी सेक्शन पी के साथ भी बना रही हूँ. शुड आई मेक इट अगेन फॉर यू, और ये दिस वन आई शुड आई एक्सप्लेन, अभी जस्ट बनाया है सेक्शन पी के साथ. यस क्लास, शुड आई मेक इट अगेन फॉर यू ऑल? बनाऊं क्या आप लोगों के साथ फिर से? ठीक है.
कंपोजिट की एट्रीब्यूट की वो थोड़ा बताइए.
कंपोजिट की, हाँ बताती हूँ.
हाँ, कंपोजिट एट्रीब्यूट वो सब, मतलब आप जो दिखाया है.
हाँ, स्टूडेंट्स इसको बहुत अच्छे से ड्रॉ करना, ठीक है, ड्रॉ करोगे अच्छे से देन यू विल गेट फुल मार्क्स फॉर दिस। इसके लिए हम लोग थोड़ा सा ये भी गाइडलाइंस भी डाल देते हैं कि इसको प्रॉपर्ली व्हाइट शीट पे ड्रॉ करो, विद कलर पेन्स ड्रॉ करो, बिकॉज व्हेन यू ड्रॉ इट ऑन द लाइन वाला पेजेस एंड विद पेन इट्स मींस वी कैन नॉट सी एनीथिंग एट ऑल। so हम लोग गाइडलाइंस डाल देंगे बिफोर द एग्जामिनेशन दैट यू हैव टू जस्ट प्रिपेयर इट, ड्रॉ इट ऑन अ नीट व्हाइट शीट पेज विद कलर पेंसिल्स और स्केच पेन्स, ठीक है, तो वो हम डाल देंगे। सो इफ यू डोंट हैव, बाय इट beforehand and then click the picture and then upload. Okay, so we will take this. So first for the entity, what we will do, we will take a rectangular box, ठीक है, we will take a rectangular box entity के लिए, ठीक है। so entity में हम कुछ भी डालें, anything, student, आगे शेप्स में अभी यहाँ पे कौन सा लेंगे हम स्टूडेंट्स, बताओ।
रेक्टेंगुलर,
ओवल वाला,
ओवल वाला।
ओवल पहले इसके एट्रीब्यूट डिफाइन करो।
हाँ यस ओवल,
ठीक है, तो इसकी एट्रीब्यूट डिफाइन करेंगे, इसको हम डालते हैं इनरोलमेंट नंबर, गॉट इट। इसको हम क्या करेंगे स्टूडेंट्स, जल्दी बताओ, अंडरलाइन कर देंगे, व्हाई, बिकॉज इट इज आवर प्राइमरी की,
दैट्स राइट।
हाँ, name, नेम, इसको कैसे हम लोग फर्दर डिवाइड करेंगे,
कंपोजिट
ovals, ठीक है, ट्री लाइक स्ट्रक्चर, देखो क्यों, अब इसमें देखो, जैसे अब आप लोग ध्यान में आओ, ले आओ, जो फॉर्म्स फिल करते हो इसके कितने सारे एट्रीब्यूट्स, तो नेम का ही आप बना सकते हो। आप फिल करते चलते हो और फिर देखोगे कि आपका नाम जब रिप्रेजेंट होके आता है तो वो उस टाइप से रिप्रेजेंट होके आता है। इसका मैं 2 से ज्यादा बनाती हूँ, 4, तो ये बताओ 4 क्या क्या हो सकता है स्टूडेंट, टेल मी।
फर्स्ट,
हाँ, और उसके अलावा
मैम उसका सफिक्स और प्रीफिक्स।
मैम सैल्यूटेशन लाइक
यस,
और मिसेस।
यस, ठीक है, इस पे जरा टाइम लगता है स्टूडेंट्स, आप लोग एक और है ऐप, उसके उसमें भी थोड़ा टाइम लग जाएगा, पेन एंड पेपर पे दिस इज इनफैक्ट कंपनीज लोग तो आज इसके लिए प्रॉपर ग्राफिकल टूल्स होते हैं, So you just have to put in and you can just draw it any way which you want. So यहाँ पे हम सबसे पहले डालेंगे क्या स्टूडेंट्स बताओ?
salutation,
Yes, सफिक्स होगा जो उनके आगे नाम के आगे जो रख ले. हाँ, so suffix. Okay, now here first name, middle name, and ये क्या हो गया अपना स्टूडेंट्स?
last name.
लास्ट. ठीक है, आप लोग पेन एंड पेपर पे बना रहे होगे तो फटाफट बन गया होगा.
यस मैम,
Yes.
एकदम
Yes,
एग्जाम
ma'am.
टाइम में पेन पेपर भी बनाना होगा,
हाँ,
टाइम सेविंग होगा.
हाँ. और इनफैक्ट अगर पेपर पेन पे आप बना रहे हैं ना स्टूडेंट्स, लाइक इसके लिए आपको कोई थ्योरी कुछ पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं. आपका काम कितना आसानी से हो जाएगा, बस प्रैक्टिस कर लेना. अब ये चाहोगे कि आप सीधे क्वेश्चन देखोगे और बनाना शुरू कर दोगे, दैट इज नॉट इट. अभी आपका ये सारा करेक्ट होगा और जो लिखा रहेगा क्वेश्चन में कितने कॉम्पोजिट एट्रीब्यूट्स बनने चाहिए, इतने आपके डिराइव्ड एट्रीब्यूट्स बनने चाहिए, अगर वो सब सारी चीजें आप फॉलो करते हो ना, देन यू विल गेट फुल मार्क्स. अभी देखो, अभी और भी इसमें एट्रीब्यूट्स आप ऐड ऑन कर सकते हो. और क्या ऐड कर सकते हो इसमें स्टूडेंट्स बताओ? सॉरी, मेड अ मिस्टेक. क्या मिस्टेक किया? स्टूडेंट नेम में
स्टूडेंट के
निकाल.
नीचे आएगा. हाँ, स्टूडेंट.
यस,
ईमेल आईडी.
हाँ, ये सब आप लोग थोड़ा ध्यान रखना, ये सब मिस्टेक मत करना क्योंकि सब मिस्टेक.
ईमेल आईडी, फोन नंबर ऐड कर सकते हो.
हाँ, कुछ भी आप, एनी एजुकेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन. आप लोग और भी बना लो, ठीक है, आप लोग और भी इसमें ऐड ऑन कर लो, मैं आगे बढ़ती हूँ. ठीक है, इंसर्ट अगेन शेप्स. अभी मैं इसको रिलेशनशिप स्टैब्लिश करूंगी यहाँ पे. ठीक है, एंड आई विल यूज दिस डायमंड बॉक्स फॉर व्हाट? स्टूडेंट ठीक है, इसमें मैं लिखूंगी स्टूडेंट enrolls for. ठीक, is it visible to you ना? थोड़ा सा और बड़ा कर दें. Student enrolls for what? Student enrolls for what, students? बताओ.
स्पेशलाइजेशन.
Yes, specialization या course. Somebody said course. ठीक है ना, course कर. या अभी बहुत सारे सर्टिफिकेशन कोर्सेज चले अपने कॉलेज में, तो इसको मैं डाल देती हूँ सर्टिफिकेशन. स्टूडेंट enrolls for
सर्टिफिकेशन.
enrolls for certification. program. Okay. ठीक है, ये हो गया. अब इसमें क्या करेंगे हम लोग स्टूडेंट्स? अब बताओ क्या क्या आ सकते हैं इसमें?
हम सर्टिफिकेशन नेम, सर्टिफिकेशन कोड,
सर्टिफिकेशन कोड,
सर्टिफिकेशन नेम, कोड को हम प्राइमरी की बना सकते हैं।
यस, कोड स्टॉप कर देते हैं, अंडरलाइन, अब ये एक डिराइव्ड एट्रिब्यूट होगा।
230
यस,
230
हाँ, कुड कैन नॉट हियर यू, फिर से बताओ।
मैम प्रेजेंटेशन पार्ट में
प्रेजेंटेशन, हाँ एक मिनट रुकिए। नेम और बताओ स्टूडेंट्स, ठीक है, ओके। अच्छा एक बताओ, तो इसमें हम लोग मल्टी वैल्यूड एट्रीब्यूट्स क्या निकाल सकते हैं? क्या हो सकता है मल्टी वैल्यूड एट्रीब्यूट्स? यस क्लास, क्या हो सकता है?
मैम नंबर ऑफ अप्लाइड सर्टिफिकेशन प्रोग्राम्स, वो मतलब एक ही
यस,
ज्यादा
हाँ, यस यस यस, नंबर ऑफ एप्लीकेंट्स एट अ टाइम, ठीक है ना। अभी इसको मैं अब 1 to many कार्डिनलिटीज सिखाऊंगी ना, उससे और ये चीज आपकी क्लियर हो जाएगा। फिर एक आएगा आपका कोर्स ड्यूरेशन, ठीक है, यहाँ पर एक और आप डालो कोर्स ड्यूरेशन, कोर्स ड्यूरेशन डालो यहाँ पे। कोर्स ड्यूरेशन हो गया, एक और ऐड करो, और उसके बाद उससे क्या डिराइव कर सकते हो कोर्स ड्यूरेशन से? स्टूडेंट्स बताओ, कोर्स ड्यूरेशन से कुछ डिराइव हो सकता है?
completion year of the course
कंप्लीशन टाइम, ठीक है, कोर्स ड्यूरेशन,
Yes.
कंप्लीशन टाइम डिराइव कर सकते हैं स्टूडेंट्स।
yes ma'am
उसी से पता चलेगा ना, ड्यूरेशन जितना है उससे हमारा कंप्लीशन टाइम, कोर्स कंप्लीशन टाइम ये निकाल सकते हैं। इसके एकदम जस्ट बगल में आप लोग लिखो, कॉपी कॉपी एंड पेस्ट। डॉटेड लाइंस में चाहिए, वो है नहीं, आप लोग डॉटेड लाइंस में इसको निकाल के ले आओ प्लीज स्टूडेंट्स, डॉटेड लाइन इस टाइप से। ये शेप है कि नहीं, एक मिनट लेट मी चेक, नहीं है शायद ये वाला डॉटेड लाइंस वाला, नहीं है। आप लोग इसको ना प्लीज डॉटेड लाइंस में करो, जैसे ये रेक्टेंगुलर डॉटेड लाइंस में है ना स्टूडेंट्स, ये रेक्टेंगल चारों तरफ बना हुआ है ना, इसको आप डॉटेड लाइंस में ओवल कर दो।
okay ma'am
Yes,
yeah
and please connect it with like this. Anybody did that with dotted line? Can anybody show to the class?
मैम
Please.
नंबर ऑफ एप्लीकेंट्स को डबल ओवल में लिखेंगे ना?
हाँ, double over. Yes. Can anybody show who has done? Please share screen. Anyone, please?
Could you repeat what you said?
on paper we are
The paper, anyone? Pallav, please can you share it?
I'm on the paper how can I share ma'am
हाँ, पेपर जस्ट ऐसे दिखा दो क्या है, शेयर स्क्रीन ऑन योर वीडियो, हाउ यू हैव डन इट
now
प्लीज।
I have to rejoin through my phone and actually
अच्छा कोई दिखाओ, दीपिका या
मैं
कोई
मेरे
भी,
phone से
सुशांत,
join
एनीवन? वाह 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 वाह। नेक्स्ट क्लास से क्या होगा जब मैं एमएस एक्सेस स्टार्ट करूंगी आप लोगों को? एनीवन ऋषभ, राजवी, कोई भी नहीं? उज्जवल, आकृति,
मैम
मैम
नेक्स्ट
मैंने
क्लास
फोन
में
से
नीट
ज्वाइन
एंड
किया
क्लीन
है
बना लेंगे।
एंड मैम मेरा नीट नहीं है।
नीट एंड क्लीन बनाएंगे। दीपिका, अच्छा चलो स्टार्ट विथ योर प्रेजेंटेशन स्टूडेंट्स। प्लीज ऑल ऑफ यू ग्रुप 2 and 7 प्लीज स्विच ऑन योर कैमरास।
Ma'am, shall we go first?
ग्रुप 2 कौन सा है?
Group 2, ma'am.
हाँ तो स्टार्ट करो।
Okay. Guys, all are in?
हाँ bro.
Everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, guys.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are group number 2, and our topic is blockchain technology. I am Siddesh Tiwari, and other group members are Himanshu, Rajiv, Abhijit, Pallav, and Gaurav. Thank you, Pratibha ma'am, for giving us this opportunity to explain on this wonderful technology and to explain why most of the people in the entire world consider blockchain, Bitcoin as the future of finance. Now let's understand what is a blockchain. A blockchain is basically a lot of blocks arranged in a sequential manner, creating a long chain, which we call it a blockchain. So what is a block? A block is just a collection of records which contains a lot of transactions. In Bitcoin, it can the A paid $50 to B, but in other blockchain systems like Ethereum, Dogecoin, Solana, these records can be anything. It can be also your Wi-Fi password, your photo, or anything. So basically, a block is just a collection of data. A block also has a thing called as hash key and the previous hash key. The previous hash key is basically self-explanatory that it is the hash key of the previous block which it is connected to, right? So how a hash key is generated? It is generated with the help of cryptography method, which takes the data which is contained in that block and also the hash key. With these two information, cryptography will create the hash key for the current block. That is the reason we call it cryptocurrency, because it uses a cryptography method. So for example, if I want to create a new hash key for 7th block, the cryptography method will use the data of 7th block and the hash key of 6th block. With these two information, it will create the hash key of 7th block and also same for the 8th block, 9th block, and so on in the blockchain. So now let's look at how a transaction is recorded in the blockchain in the next slide. So let's imagine that there is a transaction between me and Gaurav of 500 rupees. So the transaction is that I have paid 500 rupees to Gaurav. So this transaction will be shared to each and every computer in the network who are connected to this blockchain. Once they verify whether this transaction has happened or not, the transaction will get an approval, and then this transaction will be added to the network. But if everyone decides that this is a false transaction, they can even delete the transaction and which will not be added to the blockchain. So that is how a transaction is actually added to a blockchain. Now let's understand more about blockchain in the next slide. The first thing is that blockchain is a decentralized network. There is not a single authority who gets to decide which transaction will stay in the blockchain or not. Okay, everyone in the network will get to decide. Let's take an example. Let's say our class is connected to a blockchain network, and in this network there are 10 blocks which contains one transaction each. Okay, so just like the transaction between me and Gaurav was verified by each and everyone in the class. So now blockchain is a decentralized network. That means each and everyone will get a copy of these records, of all the records, by the way. All the records, जो 10 block में records है, वो सबको पता रहेगा, and they can view and edit the data. So as you can see in the first diagram, there is a difference in colors, right? So what will happen is, let's say I have my own blockchain which contains all the 10 records. Let's say मैंने गौरव का जो transaction है, गौरव और मेरा, which is stored in the 6th block of the blockchain. Let's say that I have changed the 500 rupees to 5,000 rupees. What will happen is that the cryptography will create a new hash key. Why? Because the data is changed from 500 to 5,000. So this way the hash key of 6th block will change, and so on for the 7th block and 8th block and 9th block, because each hash key is generated with the help of the data and the previous hash key. So this way, since each and everyone is connected to the network and सबके पास अपना अपना copy है, they all can verify whether on page और किसी ने data के साथ tampering किया है. So since I have tampered with the data, everyone will delete my blockchain and the blockchain will continue with the same data. So this way, blockchain is not only decentralizing the process, but it is also hack resistant. As once the data is recorded in the blockchain, it can never be edited in the future. Let's learn more about this in the next slide, which will be explained by Abhijit.
So functions of blockchain. Number one comes with transparency. Blockchain is secured by cryptography, which increases standards of transparency on data and information. Transparency is the most demanded approach of every sector, whether it's production and consumer relationships are obtained. Blockchain technology contains the information of sources from where activity gets started, when and who is responsible, and more. From customer's point of view, it is satisfactory to track all details and know they are getting what they are getting. Integrity. Next part is data security is priority of every company. Tampering, altering without permission is illegal. So blockchain with its decentralization option creates a transparent look of data where users can look for information and track changes. Now comes the cost efficiency. Companies are investing loads of money on record security and maintenance, which is very cost of blockchain record. We would be need to search whenever needed. Another great function is less failure. Everything in blockchain is fully organized as it doesn't depend on human calculation.
Now comes to the blockchain application. The first application is social media called Stemit application. Basically here, author create an article and user can comment on it. Storing data here is a bit more expensive, so it didn't go well. Then comes to the election. Through blockchain, we can vote using our public key to any candidate, our name. It will be secured. Other minors can see only the address of the voter key. Who is behind the address, they can't see it. By this way, the privacy can be protected. So we do not need to depend on any third party. Everyone can see their vote and can directly vote if accordingly they want. It is actually in Africa, a country called Sierra Leone, to facilitate this election effectively. Now comes to the supply chain. We all know the main problem of supply chain is traceability, product authenticate. Blockchain here is not only safe, but a very cost-effective solution for the logistic industry. There are some companies on the cutting edge of logistic blockchain technology, like DHL, Blockaddy, ShipChain are this company. Now comes to the medical record. Through blockchain, all medical record can be stored in a very effective manner. This bloated sector can trim down exorbitant costs. One of the application is healthcare, which amplify and streamline the influx of information necessary to properly manage and provide care for when they need it. Healthcare provides HIPAA compliant record, keeping all people involved in the care process so they can maintain a peace of mind. Now comes to the art industry. In blockchain, an artist can monetize their work way better without any intermediary. Here, NFT is known as non-fungible tokens. Is used here to sell digital art in the blockchain. NFT is totally blowing out in right now. An artist can sold his NFT for $69 million. And CEO of the Twitter, Jack Dorsey, sold his tweet for $3 million. Draper's Lab, Pixura are the company who uses blockchain. Then comes to the most famous finance market. Totally reinvent the finance market called DeFi, decentralized market. It is more open and more transparent. Cryptocurrency, we all know that is the biggest example. Gemini, Chain Analysis, the company who uses blockchain. We know digital gold is better than a physical gold. Then comes to the bitcoins. The most popular use of blockchain has picked up quite well in our country. So thank you. Over to you, Gaurav.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we'll talk about revenue generation. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
So we'll talk about revenue generation. Revenue generation from blockchain is basically divided into two parts. One that is being derived from cryptocurrencies, and the other that is being derived by companies who are providing blockchain services to other companies. Now, what are these? The first part, how shall I explain this? I shall explain this way. We all know an IPO, right? An IPO is a crowdfunding for a company. Just like that, there is a term called ICO, initial currency offering, through which crowdfunding is done for producing new coins or tokens. Like example, say Ethereum, Bitcoin, anything. There are Litecoins, a lot of coins. So you can crowdfund and put in your money to generate new coins. These are the biggest source or the largest source of income from blockchain. In the last quarter of 2020, $13.7 billion came into being from this ICO, the initial crowdfunding. We can see actually the companies who produces the maximum revenue for servicing blockchains. Hyperlink Infosystem, Infosys, TCS, Accenture, Capgemini. Now, this company doesn't use blockchain themselves. They are like more like an outsourcing company who outsources their services to other industries. You can see here in this particular picture that banking, manufacturing, and finance, these three industries are the maximum revenue generator for these companies. So we can safely conclude that the financial sector in India and in worldwide as well produces the maximum generation for these companies. Now the next slide is going to be presented by Pallav.
So now we will look at the market trend of the blockchain technology. So when we observe the different reports and research going on in the country or across the globe, we find that blockchain as a service has been in a rise in demand. And more than I would like to say that after the COVID effect, starting from 2022 till today, the blockchain as a service has seen a tremendous growth everywhere across the world. And the main part is one thing is that distributed ledger system technology, which secures the transaction with a very fine data analytics method. So if any financial company or any other companies which like to secure their records or maintain their transactions very tampering proof, so they like to use blockchain technology. And when we talk about blockchain technology, there one thing also comes which is in trend, that is digital currency. Every government, or you can say every country, is trying to be in the market in the form of digital currency also, and we will really soon we will see this in India too. And one sector is there, that is BFSI sector, in which the media, energy, utilities, and healthcare, everything concludes. And in that sector, the blockchain technology is being researched, and they are learning how to apply that in every of the segment in order to enhance more of their existing ecosystem. So when we talk about the market trend of blockchain technology, the growth of 30% to 50% in the existing ecosystem and technology is being seen throughout the year. And by the year of 2026 and 2025, we will see the contribution of blockchain technology in the GDP of many of the countries. So these all things are in the trend. And at the end, we can say that blockchain is proof technology in the market, which cannot be manipulated or changed in any way. So thank you, and I am passing on the.
Let's talking about future scope and how blockchain is helping different sectors. From last few years, ICO investment increased by 16 times, $2.1 billion spending on blockchain solutions. As talking about banking sector, 69% banks are experimenting blockchain technologies. Blockchain-related jobs has also increased by 6 times on LinkedIn. 14 countries exploring the developing of cryptocurrencies. It is expected that the worth of global blockchain market in 2024 would be 20 billion. Over to you, Gaurav.
Thank you. Coming to the last topic for the day, it is a situation of blockchain in India. As we have gone through the slide, we can definitely conclude one thing, that blockchain is a secure way of trading, or we can do anything securely. So the maximum usage of blockchain is in finance, right? As of now, now we are talking, the maximum input, the maximum experimenting is done in the finance industry. So first, let's come to the eKYC part. Banks like DBS Bank, HDFC Bank, they have started using eKYC document through blockchain, specifically for disbursing long-term ticket size loans. That means loans to corporates, MSMEs, a ticket size like 100 CR, 500 CR, like that. And for this is the reason, this is the thing which could have prevented cases like Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya if it was implemented in PNB during the time which the scam took place. Actually, it's a very old thing. This blockchain is actually developed was in 2007, 2006. But however, it was not implemented. It was in talks, it was not implemented. Now they're implementing the same in India. Coming to trade finance, 12 Indian banks, the top 12 Indian banks has already come together, and the institution has been already formed, the Indian Bank Association for Blockchain Technology, and they are using blockchains all together to issues levied to companies. This has specifically come to being after the Nirav Modi case happened and shocked the whole of India. In supply chain financing, Flipkart is doing a wonderful job. Actually, Flipkart is experimenting with the supply chain system. Their orders, the delays, and the tracking between the vendors and the sellers and the company itself is now all can be monitored and secured through the use of blockchains. Cross-border payments, companies like Stellar is using blockchain technology for international remittances in Europe, Asia, Africa, and South Asian countries. The benefits, number one, the remittance cost is very, very low. It's 50% less. And number two, it is definitely secure. The last point, employee rewards, the Deloitte, the green dot, they are using blockchain for employee benefits and employee recognition. So that's more or less of it from us. I just want to conclude by saying one thing: cryptocurrencies are a very good thing. They are improving their securities and all of things. But the problem lies with the blockchain is that with the environmental cost that it is doing. Due to Bitcoin mining and due to cryptocurrency mining, a whooping 1 terabyte kilos is being generated every year and per hour, and that is like the whole of electricity needed by the country of Argentina in a year. So I hope we understand that the amount of energy we are generating just for the sake of Bitcoin mining and cryptocurrency mining. I wish as humans we find some alternatives to stop this. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to present to you all. Thank you so much.
Any questions, students, from your side? Any questions, section Q? Come on. All of you are sleeping?
No,
They
ma'am.
have presented such a wonderful presentation. No question कि कोई deal हुई है? Don't ask we will also not ask. It's like that?
No, ma'am.
Oh, Pratik? Acha, good, good. So, students, if they are not asking, I'm just going to ask some one or two questions. Okay, Abhijit.
Yes, ma'am.
Abhijit, can you tell me, like, what do you think? Like, just Gaurav has winded up with the point that these types of mine for the mining of all these your cryptocurrencies, these things we actually need to be done. So, how do you think that your blockchain is going to help you in that particular process?
Well, it will keep a very simple structure, and it will help see people where their products or bitcoins are being moved in the blockchain.
It's about the transactions which is getting recorded, each and every transactions. आप लोग जब ये database कर रहे हो ना, ये पूरी database, ये पूरी transactions, if it is happening, if any particular updation, deletion, any type of discrepancies, means one of your slide was also mentioning about the fraud system, finding out the fraudulent practices. He has just mentioned that if at the time of the Vijay dealings were just being done at that point of time, these types of technology would have actually found out the solution, and it would have been easily identified. In fact, class, to all of you, that sometimes I should not tell you this, मतलब class में नहीं बोलना चाहिए, but government don't want that these types of technology should be coming into our system. Yes, Himanshu, why?
Exactly.
Yes,
Why?
Exactly, because it all
मैम ये रिसर्च करने के बाद मेरे सिद्धार्थ के साथ बात हो रहा था इस चीज।
मेरा नाम सिद्धेश है भाई।
Siddesh.
Yes, yes. Okay, so first thing, you don't have to be smart enough to understand the objective of blockchain, that it is to decentralize everything, right? But you have to be smart enough that if you decentralize anything, जो बड़े-बड़े authorities के पास power है, the government, the big institution, big banks like Swiss Bank, they will never allow all the power to be handed over to the public. They will never allow this because it all decentralize everything. Because if they decentralize, that means each and everything will be approved and verified by the public and not by them. So by this, they can't do all the black stuff that they do behind. And one more thing, that is the one thing. And also, I would like to say that obviously they won't hand you the power because they also maintain the demand and supply. One great example that I can give you is of CA Institute and Engineering. If you know what I'm saying, then you know. Okay, CA Institute mein, ma'am, you know, right? CA Institute mein, let's say that there are 10,000 students who have passed in Mumbai, right? But CA Institute, if they decide that only 2,000 will be considered as CA final, then they can purposely fail those 8,000 students, right? This is done to create the demand and supply in the market, right? So if the process is decentralized, that means the whole 10,000 students who were passed in CA final, they will be considered as CA, right? What will happen? Let me tell you why they do this. Okay, this is to create the demand and supply. Like in engineering, 10,000 बच्चे पास है तो 10,000 बच्चे पास है. But in CA 10,000 पास है. If they want 2,000 only, तो 2,000 ही रहेगा. This helps to maintain the status of CA in the market. अगर एक बार में पूरा supply आ जाता है, that reduces the demand of CA, which helps. जैसे कि I would like to ask you one question. For a human body or for a normal human, what is more important, water or gold? Ma'am, can you please answer this question? Water or gold, what is more important?
एक मिनट फिर से बोलना। Yes.
What is for a human? What is more important, water or gold?
Both.
No, but you can live without gold, but you can't live without water, right? You can't live without water. You can live with.
अच्छा, gold you were just telling.
Gold and water. What is more important, right?
Yes, obviously for your body.
It is more important, but still its price, because it is available in abundance. Not like gold. Gold is less available in the market. There is a scarcity of it. So jitna scarcity, and the more and more people believe that this product is valuable or this commodity is valuable, its price will keep on increasing because uska supply kam hai.
But I will add another note to this, Siddesh.
Yes.
I'll
complete it.
First you complete
it. First, yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah, water is essential element, but this is just like a metaphor example. Okay. This is just like an
Okay.
example. So what happening is that Bitcoin is also not available in abundance. It is limited. That there will be only 21 million Bitcoins in the entire world. This has helped to create the scarcity in the market, just like gold. जितना ज़्यादा अभी gold hold करेंगे, उतना ज़्यादा उसका price increase होगा क्योंकि market में is not available for other people. Just like Bitcoin. If you see, Bitcoin was available at 50 lakhs rupees for one Bitcoin. It was like that. The price was like that. But then in 4 hours, can you believe in 4 hours, it went from 50 lakhs to 23 lakhs, less than 50%. It was all because of the availability of Bitcoin all at a sudden, because China की company, the whale company, and also the Elon Musk was also ठीक है उसके अंदर influencing. They all sold their Bitcoins all at once, which created availability of Bitcoin in the market, which reduced the value of Bitcoin. So this is all done. अगर यही पहले से पूरा decentralized रहेगा, I believe that Bitcoin is decentralized, but the value at which it is traded, it is all centralized and controlled by the big authorities. The whole thing can be decentralized, you can say. Now, what you think, you need to understand what is a Bitcoin actually. Bitcoin is just a token by adding a new block to the chain, right? It is just like you get tokens in your Amazon, your Flipkart, और your Lenskart. उसमें भी अगर आप कुछ purchase करते हो, आपको return में कुछ coins मिलता है and you get a token. It is just like that. But the value at which it is with blockchain is trading at, it is all controlled and influenced in the market by using the power of lack of knowledge of the public. It is all done by that. Exactly.
Actually, so because of that, what means I was just putting out like this, because these are all algorithm based, as you said about the demand and supply. So well in advance, if your forecasting technique is really good, you should understand that by the end of 2025, in our country, how much doctors to be needed, what should be the supply of this much amount of engineers are required, this much amount of CAs are required. So there your financial planning acts well in advance. Okay, then when you write the, so इसीलिए मैं बोल रही हूँ अपनी गवर्नमेंट भी नहीं चाहेगी, इसकी forecasting हम करके रखें. Exactly. And the one thing which you said, water or gold. So gold क्यों scarce है? Why it is very costly? Because it is scarce. Scarcity of gold is there, but still there is the fraudulent practices going on in the purchasing of gold. So don't you think that if these things will come, the transparency, these fraudulent things will just
fraudulent will go, but no major authority will allow this to happen.
Yes,
because they are controlling the frauds, right? They get all the cut. You can say cut उनको भी मिलता है. Exactly.
Means in fact, a blockchain is not only in our country, in rest of the countries also, it is not at all fully implemented. देखो ये सब आप लोग ये मत करना क्योंकि ये just as a part of a discussion with you all. क्या ये सिलेबस के बाहर का है, लेकिन आप लोग सोचें इसमें कॉमन सेंस अप्लाई करो. कोई क्यों चाहेगा कि पूरी ट्रांसपेरेंसी,
because they enjoy the leverage
like
that they
the
have
voting
on
system.
and
voting
system,
system
leverage to be handed over
like
to the public.
India is a quite big democracy, तो voting system तो नहीं चाहेगा. At the end of the day, we all know कि कौन चलाता है government. Elite class ही चलाता है. तो government आम जनता के पास नहीं देगा.
In fact, there is one use case of that these amount which is sanctioned by the government, that चलो farming के लिए इतना $1,000 crore rupees we are allocating. ठीक है. अभी देखो यहाँ पे क्या होता है स्टूडेंट्स, अभी सोचो यहाँ पे अगर ब्लॉकचेन की पूरी डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन आ गई, so not a penny will be lost. हमें क्या पता कि उतना amount उसका 50% भी is reaching to the farmers for their welfare, for their benefit. Are we aware about it? एक use case उस पे भी आया था, बहुत अच्छी case study आई थी. But if it will be channelized through these network system, na decentralized system, each and every penny will stop only till the time it is not going to reach to your farmers.
Yes, because it is
अगर किसी के लिए welfare के लिए कोई,
yes, very
it is not going to go here and there. It will not happen.
Very interesting topic. I worked in.
It's very wonderful to understand the whole blockchain system and what it is going to do in future. But one more thing, if everything goes decentralized, the world economy will collapse in one day. It is actually true. Just like what happened with Bitcoin in 4 hours, that will happen with all the economy in the entire world in one day.
Not exactly. Again, I will not agree. So we see decentralization with centralization. Again, I'm telling you, there is one condition applied. if it should be there in the smooth manner wherein you I have a very strong forecasting techniques available with you, wherein you know where I have to go, what are going to be my restrictions. So then accordingly you're going to put in your algorithms, you're going to write your algorithm. So you are, देखो control तो है नहीं क्या, ये तो system है ना, system कौन बनाता है, इंसान ही तो बना रहे.
Yeah.
Means people like you all have only made this system. So system can be designed as per your requirement.
Yes.
बात सही है ना, तो कहीं ना कहीं तो centralization इसमें भी है.
Yeah, everything goes back to the center.
That everything should be transparent. Means no fraudulent practices, nothing should happen. Everything should be in clear, crystal manner. Whomsoever wants, they can just check out where the things are going on, how the things are going on. But इसी में जो आप कुछ restrictions लगा दो तो things are. चलो, very good discussion. Any questions from your class? Any question? No.
नहीं मैम, सब क्लियर हो गए.
अरे वाह निमित.
Ma'am, feedback from your end. Ma'am, feedback from your end.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. अभी इतनी बातें की तुमसे तो क्या feedback चाहिए?
more about this
उससे ज़्यादा पता चल गया ब्लॉकचेन के बारे में.
हम लोग को और बोलना था ब्लॉकचेन के बारे में, but there was limited time.
तो अनऑफिशियल मीट रखते हैं शाम को यार.
अभी जस्ट क्या हो रहा था, अभी इसीलिए मैं पिन कर रही थी हर स्टूडेंट को. सो दीज टाइप्स ऑफ सेशंस आर कमिंग. बाहर के लोग आते हैं, देन दे, तुम लोग भी अटेंड करते ही होगे. आई मीन आई वाज जस्ट कमिंग इन माय माइंड हाउ ब्यूटीफुली माय स्टूडेंट्स आर एक्सप्लेनिंग wave blockchain, and this is the difference, the matter of experience is they have experience, they are working in the organizations, and the same way means once after 10 years down the line you will also be presenting somewhere like this. Bless you all. Like that. ठीक है, तो next presentation next class.
Thank you ma'am for this opportunity ma'am.
अरे तुम लोगों ने किया.
Thank you ma'am.
Yes, group 7 and group 3 be prepared for the next on Wednesday's class presentation. आज group 8 बच गया, sorry 7 बच गया आज. So
yeah ma'am, it will hardly take 15 minutes.
अच्छा, so if you all are ready, no problem with me. Please start.
Okay.
Group 7, yes, you can start it. I don't have any problem. अगर आप लोगों को नहीं तो क्लास नहीं है ना अभी कोई और?
नहीं मैम.
चलो, then we can continue.
I'll share it.
Yes. All the camera.
Yes. A very warm good afternoon to one and all.
Megha, your voice is really low. Can you just increase the volume?
Is that fine now?
No, it's really low. Increase.
Hello.
Now perfect. Perfect. Acha, it's troubling you now.
Very welcome to one and present here. Me with my group are going to present on the topic of big data. We would like to thank you, ma'am, for giving. I would request Aditya to carry it forward.
Please.
Is he audible?
You are audible, Megha.
No, is Aditya audible?
No, Aditya is not audible.
He is speaking. Aditya, we can't hear you. No, we still can't hear you.
Tell him to switch on his camera.
Ma'am, his camera is switched on.
Aditya, just do one thing, Aditya. Just remove that earphones हटा के बात करो.
Aditya, rejoin the meet. Rejoin the meet.
एक सेकंड आदित्य सी और म्यूट के बाजू में जो एरो है ना उसमें गो टू ऑडियो सेटिंग्स एंड उसमें ये सेम एज सिस्टम है ना टेस्ट माइक में उसकी जगह ट्राई अनदर ऑप्शन. आर यू फॉलोइंग? Let's shift it to next lecture then.
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है, कोई प्रॉब्लम. It's fine.
Sorry ma'am.
It's okay. It's okay. कोई बात. चलो, take care all of you students.
Thank you, ma'am.